Breaking news on the war in Ukraine. Finland with a major announcement overnight, moving toward applying for NATO membership without delay. Sweden is taking similar steps amid fears of a wider war. Senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is in Ukraine. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, George, good morning from one of the many villages that have been liberated from Russian occupation around Kharkiv. This is in the northeast of the country. The British Ministry of Defence saying this morning that Russian troops are now withdrawing, having taken heavy losses, also in the face of stiff Ukrainian counter-offensive, which just seems to be gathering momentum. This, as we're seeing the first signs that NATO could be about to expand in response to this Russian threat for the first time in years.
This morning, as Russia continues to attack across Ukraine, Finland's leaders announcing their support for applying to join NATO, breaking with the country's long-standing policy of neutrality. Sweden also indicating it could apply to join. It's a major blow to the Kremlin, which used NATO expansion as one of its justifications for the war. Defence Secretary Lloyd Austin warning Vladimir Putin any attack on NATO allies would be a game-changer.
Russia doesn't want to take on the NATO alliance. So this is a fight that he really doesn't want to have.
But the Ukrainian president sharing his disappointment that NATO didn't approve his country's request for membership before the war. I'm absolutely convinced, he said, that if Ukraine had been part of NATO before the war, there would have been no war. And the impact of this battle reaching the very youngest and the oldest. 92-year-old Olga was forced to flee her village outside Kharkiv. Unable to walk, she had to be rescued in this van.
Olga, you've lived through one war. What has this war been like for you?
It's terrible, very frightening, she tells me. And in Mariupol, as reports surface that all civilians may now be safely out of that steel plant, new video from the battle showing smoke rising above the Azovstal steel factory. Unverified images released by the far-right Azov regiment of its members and their battle injuries. The regiment telling ABC 90% of fighters have some kind of injury. Now, Ukraine's prosecutor's office bringing its first indictment against a Russian soldier for allegedly shooting and killing a 62-year-old Ukrainian civilian in February. The Russian soldier now facing a life sentence for what Ukraine says are war crimes. But for those that survived, returning home, bringing a wave of emotions. Tatiana Podjivilova weeping, "Oh, my beloved land," as she kisses the ground. She was forced to flee her village near Kharkiv 2 months ago.
Well, guys, we're getting the first reaction from the Kremlin to the news that Finland could be about to join NATO if that goes through. The Kremlin saying this is a clear threat. Remember, the Kremlin used the potential or perceived threat of NATO expansion as one of the justifications for the war, even though NATO, America absolutely refuted that. But this will certainly add grist to Putin's mill, and perhaps we'll see a doubling down of their offensive here inside Ukraine.
We'll wait and see what happens. All right, Ian, thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.